start. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My presentation is on anti-dysphotopsia intraocular lens, a novel design to prevent negative dysphotopsia. It has been 2000 years since the first ever cataract surgery was performed. Since then, there has been a lot of evolution, but there are few factors which prevents the cataract surgery to reach its zenith, that is negative dysphotopsia, which is perceived as a temporal crescentric shadow seen in 15.5% of the patients post-cataract surgery. This is commonly encountered problem in OPD even after giving best possible surgical outcomes as a surgeon, where the patient says, "Sir, I can see everything. I don't have any pain, but I see this crescentric shadow on the temporal side and this is bothering me." And as a surgeon, we don't have a solution for this and we wanted to find one. Coming to the negative dysphotopsia optics and why does it happen? The most accepted theory, it is the gray shaded area bordered. This is the gray shaded area and bordered by the line passing in between the iris and the ocular lens, intraocular lens, and the line that is refracted at the optic edge. And these are two culprits which causes negative dysphotopsia. Here we can see in the OCT that there is a lot of gap between the iris and the intraocular lens through which the light passes. And this is a normal crystalline lens where we don't see any gap here. So if you want to get rid of negative dysphotopsia, we have to get rid of this space between the iris and the intraocular lens. Based on the same concept, these are the other two intraocular lenses that are available, but they are very complicated to implant as it requires posterior capsular rhexis and all. And our idea was to develop a new IOL design, simple in its concept and easy to implant. Our idea was, as the lens is implanted, the optic by default should come at the capsular rhexis margin, thus eliminating the gap between iris and the optic. So there is no space for the light to pass. And this was our lens design. This is our lens where we can see a central 6 mm optic and a 360 degrees haptic, which is angulated as seen in this particular picture, and it comes with two dialing holes. This is the video showing the implantation. Here we can see the lens is loaded into the cartridge just like any other intraocular lens. In post-phacoemulsification eye, we can see the lens being injected into the capsular bag. Being made up of 20% hydrophilic water content material, it is very capsule friendly and easily manipulated. And it comes with two dialing holes with the help of which the lens is manipulated inside the capsular bag. And the same is used to aspirate the visco behind it. Here we can see all it takes is a simple nudge and the lens centers itself into the capsular bag. As we can see here, and the optic comes right below the capsular rhexis margin, you can see here. And the visco is aspirated through the dialing holes. And these are the slit lamp images post-cataract surgery. Here we can see a small reflection which highlights the fact that there is no gap between the iris and the optic. And this is another picture in the dilated eye where we can see a 360 degrees depression around the optic which continues as the haptic. So the both reasons which cause negative dysphotopsia are dealt here. And this is another interesting picture where the intraocular lens looks like just like a crystalline lens except for this dialing holes. This is the OCT undilated picture where we can see the optic here, and here we can highlight that there is no gap between the iris and the optic, thus eliminating the gap. And this is a dilated picture where we can see the optic profile, and these hyperreflective things are the capsular rhexis margins. And the thing is, the optic continues as a haptic and there is no optic edge here for the refraction of the light. This is another interesting picture in dilated eye where the angles are wide open and this lens does not cause any angle closure. This is a Scheimpflug image where we can see the optic here and there is no gap between the iris and the optic. And the interesting part, this lens keeps the posterior capsule wide open and this gives the normal crystalline lens profile as we can see in this picture, thus eliminating all kinds of dysphotopsias. Coming to the study and analysis, 56 patients who experience negative dysphotopsia in one eye already are taken into this study and who are willing for other eye are included. The average age group was 53 to 71 years and NS2 to 3 grade cataracts were included and they were followed up for 2 years. Our anti-dysphotopsia lens is implanted in 56 patients so far, and all the patients are deployed free of negative dysphotopsias, and there were no adverse events intraoperative or postoperative. This is the graph showing the significance of our lens, where none of the patients had any symptoms of negative dysphotopsia. To conclude, the new IOL design is simple and easy to implant and effectively prevents the temporal negative dysphotopsia, which has been a challenge from quite some time, and we don't have anything to do about it. The present IOL we use in our day-to-day life was designed to replace aphakic glasses, but our ADL lens is designed to replace normal crystalline lens, giving capsular bag normal crystalline lens profile, and so the visual experience is devoid of all the dysphotopsias, and this can be the future lens design. These are my references, and thank you.
So Venkat, that was an innovative idea.
Yes,
but your volume, the number of cases did was something like 36. Was it like that? Number of cases you did?
56, sir.
56. So was there any other problems like because we have closed in on the gap between the iris and the lens. So does it produce any iris changes in the long run?
No, sir. That was our primary problem. Sir, yes, sir.
Yes.
We did look for all those things, any chances of depigmentation and pigmentation depositing on the IOL lens, but none of them has happened. That is the reason we chose the hydrophilic material, sir. If we had chosen for hydrophobic, definitely would have caused depigmentation and all. But the thing is, the iris rubs over the capsular bag, so there is no problem till now.
Doctor, we thought the iris, the lens vaulting and pressing on the PC helped prevention of a PCO. We thought like that, and that was the original design. The vault was designed so that the lens optic exactly goes and presses on the PC. Now you are doing vice versa.
Yes.
So, is there any experience of what is your longest follow up now for the first patient?
2 years.
Do you see PCO in your cases?
Yes, sir. We have seen 5 patients, which is like normal incidence. And actually, there was a Japanese school of thought where they say like if you keep the anterior capsule and posterior capsule apart, the chance of PCO will be very less. And that is what happens in this particular lens. And even those 5 cases, they are very minimal, sir. We did ACAP in 1 case, and we even had a fear that lens will collapse once we do ACAP, but it didn't happen. The lens is already fibrosed and it was just staying like that.
All right. So with due respect, may I request our judges to invite the next paper speaker, please?
Yes. So thank you, Venkat.